Ahoy, my friends, Ryder here, and welcome back to another Final Fantasy VII Ever Crisis video. Today, I'm going to be diving into a guide that took me a lot of failed attempts in order to do. That is going to be a guide against the Shiva EX2. That's right, guys. I did finally manage to beat it. And then it actually took me like 15 or 20 tries just to beat it again. But yeah, I'm going to be showing you guys a voiceover of that run. I'm going to be showing you guys a PowerPoint that shows all the mechanics of the fight, that breaks it down as simply as possible. And at this point, since I've run it so many times, I really have it pretty dialed. So I do hope that helps you guys. All right, so that being said, I am going to jump over to the PowerPoint and I'm going to explain to you guys the Shiva EX2 mechanics. All right, guys, so here we are with the Shiva EX2 mechanics segment of the video. Now I'm going to be going through these slides one at a time, and I'm going to explain to you guys essentially how I made it through this fight. I was using Zack, Aerith, and Red 13. And there is going to be a team build before the voiceover for the battle itself for you guys that want to see my build going into this. But I think it's important that you understand how this fight works. All right, so first things first. The sigils for Shiva are going to be diamond. There are no physical or magical counters, just so you guys know, of course it is diamond. And you don't need a diamond sigil weapon required. But it does make the fight easier if possible to use one. So I do know of people that have run it with Matt, like with the Centipede or Prime Number, with the Bahamut Rapier in the offhand slot. But for my build today, I'm actually not running a diamond sigil breaking weapon. You just have to be aware of when the sigil is coming, and I'm going to explain that to you guys here shortly. All right, so for the limit break and summons for this fight, I am going to be using Hellfire. All right, I'm also going to be using Stardust Ray, which is Red 13's new limit break, which can remove any physical or magic buffs, physical or magic attack buffs on the opponent. So for example, when Shiva goes into her when Shiva goes into her sigil break phase, she's going to greatly increase her magic attack. So we are going to counter that by using Stardust Ray right off the bat. Boom, it completely brings it back to zero right away. And honestly, it makes this fight. We're also going to be using Aerith's new limit break, Breath of the Earth, which is going to remove any magic defense down buffs that Shiva is going to cast on us, typically before she uses Diamond Dust. All right, so the team strategy of this fight is going to be having very high ice resistance. For those of you guys that beat EX1, you know that we're at the point in time where speccing for elemental resistance is now very important. All right, we're also going to be speccing for magic defense, fire potency, and utilizing magic attack break, magic attack up, and fire imperil. Necessary things you need for this build. Doesn't mean it's the only build, it's just for this one. You're going to need a primary fire DPS, a magic fire primary DPS. Physical is not going to work in this fight. You're going to need a healer, a magic attack breaker, a physical magic attack breaker. So someone who can reduce magic attack, but with a physical attack. All right. A magic attack buffer. So for example, Aerith with Garnet's Rod in this case, and a fire imperiler. All right. So let's move over to the next slide right here. I'm going to explain the fight layout. All right, so Shiva basically opens this fight with Diamond Dust, and before she casts Diamond Dust, she's going to AoE silence your team. So at the very beginning of the fight, you're going to defaith right away. You're going to have enough time to cast 1 3 ATB spell. So we're going to defaith right off the bat, all right? And then because we have a physical weapon for magic attack break, we're going to be able to take that magic attack down all the way to high tier right before the Diamond Dust gets off, meaning that we're going to be able to survive it, granted you have enough ice resist and magic defense. All right, after you tank the Diamond Dust, you're going to prioritize magic attack up on your fire DPS before healing. Healing's important, but you're focusing DPS in this phase because we need to break the Ice Age bar. All right, you're going to get off that fire imperil, preferably before your DPS does their first attack, and essentially you're just going to be hounding down on Shiva to try and break that Ice Age bar. It must be fully broken in order to stun Shiva and open your first DPS window. All right. After the stun, and not too long afterwards, a second Ice Age bar is going to appear. This one is going to give you far less time to break it. In fact, you're not going to be able to break it. So just do as much damage as you can in the time that you have. But then also you're going to want to recast the magic attack break, Defaith, preferably before the silence. So Shiva will soon re-AoE silence and cast Heavenly Strike, a very powerful single target ice attack. She will always target the person with the highest HP. Thank you, JC, who figured that out and let me know. So look to magic attack break her with Defaith / command abilities. You need to memorize the timing a little bit on this, honestly, for a few things in this fight. All right. Heavenly Strike is a single target ice attack that always targets the person with the highest HP. Before it goes off, we're going to cast Aerith's Breath of the Earth, which removes magic defense down. She'll hit everyone with a silence and a AoE magic defense down when she starts to cast Heavenly Strike. And make sure to break the magic attack on Shiva to high tier before this goes off. All right? So once the Heavenly Strike fires, okay, do not heal. She's going to immediately go into a 14 count sigil break. When the sigil starts, Shiva is going to cast a 5 times high magic attack buff on herself. And we are going to counter this by using Red 13's Stardust Ray, which is going to completely remove all of her magic attack up. During the sigil break, she will spam cast Blizzaga. However, since we broke her magic attack, she's going to give us far less damage. You're going to break the Ice Age bar while breaking all the sigils. After the break, there is a big DPS window, the biggest one in the fight. Use it. And now I'm going to talk about the next part of the fight. This next part is tricky and is honestly the make or break crux of the entire Shiva battle. So I'm going to try and explain it as best I can. All right, so after the stun, Shiva will slowly recover from you breaking her sigils. During that time that you're basically just annihilating her with damage, prep your DPS with magic attack up and time your ATB. So let it fill more than you're attacking after like the first 10 or 15 seconds has elapsed. All right? Time your ATB, make sure you have Hellfire so that when she recovers, and you'll see her kind of wake up from her little trance, once she recovers, a new Ice Age bar is going to appear with about a quarter of it filled, guys. Now, this is the most important thing. There are 2 ways to handle this bar, all right? The first beta, and this one is the most difficult, is that you time your hits with your ATB so that the moment that ice bar or the Ice Age bar appears, you can break it. Because literally 1 second or 2 or 3 seconds after that Ice Age bar appears, she is going to immediately AoE silence your entire team and start casting Diamond Dust. So the ultimate strategy is to essentially, as soon as that bar appears, break it instantly, which will stun her and give you a major window of DPS to do damage to her. All right. In my fight, I was not able to do this. So there's a second beta here. Beta 2, you almost break the Ice Age bar. She casts the AoE silence, right? Now, we're going to have Hellfire prepped. So as long as you get that bar pretty close to almost gone, and Hellfire is not going to take as much damage from this as you guys think, but it will take about 10% of it, all right? So once she starts casting Diamond Dust and you've been AoE silenced, wait for the bar to fill to like around 60%. The moment it's at around 60%, 50 to 70%, somewhere in there, drop Hellfire, drop Breath of the Earth, all right, to heal the magic defense down, and break her bar. The moment you break her bar, you will stun her, and her Diamond Dust count charge time will freeze. That's going to give you a major window of DPS here, and the reason that we wait to break it is that silence only lasts a certain amount of time. So if you wait and let it slowly go away, by the time you break it, it should basically wear off right around that time. If you break it right when you get silenced, you're basically spending your entire DPS window silenced and unable to do damage. That's why we wait till the last possible moment, break it, and do as much damage as you can. But keep in mind, a Diamond Dust is still right around the corner, so you're going to want to make sure that you get the magic attack break on her, and then the Breath of the Earth will heal your magic defense down. All right, so that's going to conclude the 2 betas for this part of the fight. Like I said, this is the pivotal moment for this fight, what you do right here. Okay, breaking the Ice Age will give you a new DPS window either before the silence or one where silence wears off quickly since we waited, and you can deal great damage to Shiva either way before Diamond Dust. Don't forget to Breath of the Earth and Magic Attack break her. This should put you in the last 15% or so, maybe 20% of her HP, or less if played right from the beginning. Shortly after Diamond Dust, Shiva will re-AoE silence and start casting Heavenly Strike. Okay, and this is pretty quickly after the Diamond Dust. This will always target the character with the highest HP. Thanks again, JC, for hitting me up on that. So at this point in time, we're going to re-Magic Attack break her, tank the Heavenly Strike, and at this point, if she's low, like 10% HP, abandon healing, Magic Attack up on Zac or whoever your DPS is, and go for the win to kill Shiva. Charge in for the win, all right? Because shortly after this point in time, she is going to cast a second Heavenly Strike, which almost always takes out Zac for me in this case, okay? And then after that, she's going to go into a second Sigil Break phase, where she has even more Sigil counters than the first one. The first one has 14, I think the second one has 18, meaning you cannot beat it unless you brought a Diamond Sigil weapon into this fight. So if you have less DPS and you're trying for a longer fight beta, then you're going to need a Diamond Sigil weapon. All right, so like I said right here, if you have a Diamond Sigil weapon, you can beat the next coming Sigil phase, more Sigils, but if you don't have one in your team, you need to beat her before that happens or during the Sigil phase, as you'll see in my very, very close scenario fight with Shiva EX2, which I'll be showing you guys here in a second. All right, guys, so that is going to conclude the battle mechanics for EX2 Shiva. I'm going to jump back into the game and show you guys my team build before we go into the fight itself. All right, guys, here we are back with my team. I'm going to quickly go over this team build before we get into the battle itself. As you guys can see, Shiva EX2 has a recommended power of 260,000, and my team has a power of 260,000. I am running a Fire Magic DPS Zac, Red 13 as a Fire Imperiler and Magic Attack Breaker, and Aerith as our healer / Magic Attack Up buffer. All right, so I'm going to quickly go over the front end of this build. Zac is going to be running his Fire Arcanum set paired with Ifrit. In the main hand, importantly, Ifrit's sword for the very high ice resistance here and HP. His Stream Guard is going to be put in the offhand right here, and it can be done with a lower level OB Stream Guard. However, it can be very tricky to min-max the DPS in this fight. All right, so moving over to Red 13, he is running his Hellhound costume, which is going to give him great ice resistance. We are running Stardust Ray, of course, in his main hand, and most importantly, the Flame Dragon's Band for the Fire Imperil, the high ice resistance and HP, and in his offhand, we're running the Junk Caller for the Magic Attack Break right here that for me goes mid to high. If you guys have it at OB6, it's going to be even easier. Last but not least, we have Aerith over here running the Chocobo suit for the HP and magic defense. We have Breath of the Earth for the remove magic defense down, Fairy Tail in the main slot, and Garnet's Rod right here in the offhand. You only need a base 5-star version of this. If you don't have it on Aerith, you're going to have to configure a team. This for me is just going to allow Zac to do more damage throughout this fight. All right, now let's take a quick look at the materia here. On Zac, I just have a Sigil Break that is either reinforcing his magic defense or HP. On Red 13, I have a physical Fire Blow right here, just in case I need to cast it while I'm silenced. And on Aerith, we have a X Sigil Break here as well. In the second slot, I have another Sigil that is reinforcing Zac's magic defense and HP. That's what I'm doing with basically all of these, or I'm focusing on their magic attack rarely, but you want to be tanky enough to survive her, and it can be a little tricky. I have a D-Faith on Red 13, so I can hit the low break and then immediately take it to high with Junk Caller. And then over here on Aerith, we have a Cura for a single target heal. Last but not least, I have 3 Fyra Materias in the 3rd slot for all 3 of them. All right, so let's jump into the back end of the build. Looking at Zac first, 101,000 power, 8.1k HP, 3.9k magic attack with 169 magic defense. His R abilities are as shown, with magic attack highlighted, fire potency highlighted, and ice resist highlighted right here. His ice resist is at level 5, and HP here is pretty good as well. His sub weapons are going to be the Bahamut's Rapier right here, the Carrot Sword, and the Sun Umbrella. Jumping over to Red 13, he is sitting at 73k power, 11.5k HP, 2.7k magic attack, 149 magic defense. I like Red 13 having the most HP because he has the most ice resistance, and Heavenly Strike always targets the person with the highest hit points. All right, looking at his R abilities, as you guys can see, he is far more defensive. He has ice resistance 6, magic defense 3, HP 7. He has some magic ability potency, the Flame Frost Fangs for the extra resistances right there, and a little bit of magic ability potency. Looking at his sub-weapons, we have the Bahamut Knuckles right here, the Bandage Sword for the HP and ice resistance, and the Protector's Blade for the boost magic attack all to the party. Last but not least, we have Aerith Gainsborough, 85,000 power, 2.5k magic attack, 8.3k HP, 148 magic defense with 2.2k healing. Healing is a little less important for her in this, but it still needs to be there. Her R abilities, the important ones at least, are going to include healing, magic defense, HP, and ice resistance here, guys. Ice resistance is super clutch in these fights. Her sub-weapons are going to be Glenn's Inferno Grave, Barrett's Assault Gun here for the ice resistance and healing, and last but not least, Sephiroth's Flame Dragon Blade for the ice resist and magic defense. All right, guys, that is going to conclude the team build for this fight. That being said, let's get into the battle itself. I'm going to show you guys how to get this clear. Let's go. All right, guys, here we are going into the Shiva EX2 fight. Let's frickin' get it. So at the beginning of this fight, we are going to immediately cast Defaith. Okay. I found it's better here to switch over to Aerith so that she doesn't cast. However, at this point in time, I didn't realize that. So I stayed on Red 13. You're going to re-Frenzied Fang to get the magic attack break to high, then tank the Diamond Dust. All right, so here it comes. Boom. All right, so we are going to barely survive. Aerith is going to heal. After this, we're going to essentially just focus on damage as much as possible. All right, so Red 13 is going to Fire Imperil. Aerith is going to be raising the magic attack up on Zac, and Zac is just going to be doing what he does best in this fight, just putting out a lot of fire. All right, so as you guys can see, I'm leaving my HP a little bit low. I'm going to heal myself up here in a second. You can kind of time the heals to block her ice bombs, but it does take a little practice. All right, so I'm not too worried about the Ice Age. We are going to be able to break it over time. Red 13 is just going to be casting Fyra, but one thing you guys want to keep in mind is that Aerith needs to have her Breath of the Earth limit break ready by the time the Heavenly Strike comes, which is, 30 seconds off. So just keep that in mind, that it has to be up for her to remove the magic defense down. All right, so we are getting closer. Aerith is keeping up the magic attack up on Zac. Red 13 is making sure that Shiva is imperiled the entire time. Very important. All right, there you go. And yeah, we're getting in some good damage here. So there goes the Ice Age. First big DPS window right here. Breath of the Earth is charged and ready to go. All right, and now we're going to try and get in as much damage as we can with Zac. All right, so looking pretty solid right here. You'll see when Shiva starts to recover, which is getting right about here. All right, she's going to Freezing Veil, re-up the Ice Age. You're going to Defaith her right here. All right, try and get in one more attack if you can, but if not, Red 13 is going to Frenzied Fang to get the magic attack break to high, and then we are going to cast Breath of the Earth right here and Hellfire. Sometimes I cast Hellfire there, sometimes I don't. In this run, I did, because you will recover it just in time for the later phase later on when you need it to break that ice age bar after the sigil break. All right, so Breath of the Earth healed our magic defense down. We did some damage. Now Red 13 is going to tank the Heavenly Strike like it's nothing. Now the sigil phase break is incoming right now, guys, so keep that in mind. Do not cast. The moment she starts the sigil break, Stardust Ray on Red 13, he will completely remove all of her magic attack down. Now we are free to break the sigil without being absolutely annihilated by her constant stream of Blizzagas. All right, you can actually get 2 igniting streams off with Zac during this time and still break the phase for extra damage, but you won't get off 3. Just keep that in mind. I switch over to Fyra here just to be safe. All right. And as you guys can see, we are going to break it in time, which is going to give you your next big DPS window. Aerith is going to immediately start prepping Zac for damage. Red 13 is going to immediately Fire Imperil. We're going to heal up a little bit, and now we're going to try and do as much damage as possible. So now we are getting to that make it or break it crux moment of the fight, which is when she recovers from this point, right? So at this point in time, you'd want to have Zac at magic attack up high. You'd want to have his ATB super high and Shiva fully Fire Imperiled. And you'll see right when she starts to wake up, that's when you want to cast. The Ice Age bar is going to appear. It's not that big, right? But she's still going to get the AoE silence right there. All right, so super close. All right, we are going to break it. We're going to wait just a little bit of time right here. Cast the Hellfire. I could have even waited a little bit longer. We're going to drop the Breath of the Earth as well to heal our magic defense down. Get some damage off on Shiva. All right, and this is going to stun her mid-diamond dust cast right here, guys. As you guys will see. Beautiful, and right in time for the silence to wear off and for us to get in some major damage. So this is really, really important to get this phase before the Diamond Dust fires, guys. It's extremely important for this battle. All right, so we're going to get a bunch of good attacks, re-magic attack down her. Our magic defense down is healed. We're going to tank the Diamond Dust, no problem right now. All right, so here it comes. After this, you don't have much time to do damage before she goes into the next Heavenly Strike. All right, I did cast Stardust Ray just to interrupt her cast right there to buy me a little more time so that Zac could get off another attack. All right, I got the Defaith and a Curaga, all right, which prepped us for the next Heavenly Strike incoming right here. All right, Red 13 needs to get off that Frenzied Fang, and essentially we're going to tank it and go full-blown into DPS for the rest of the fight here, guys. All right, so here we go. Here's that Heavenly Strike. Is going to luckily hit Red 13. He has the highest HP. That's the benefit of having him be the highest hit point character. Now, at this point in time, we are not healing whatsoever. We are just going straight into the damage here, guys. Luckily, we still have that Fire Imperil. The next silence is about to drop right frickin' now. All right, as you guys can see. Okay, now it's really important that you get her really close right here because almost immediately following this Heavenly Strike, she's going to go into her last Sigil phase, which really hurts. So she is targeting Zac right here. He has the highest HP because he's been getting the regen over time. All right, so Zac's going to go down. But luckily, since she's so close in HP, Red 13 is going to be able to finish off the fight, but it's super, super close. So there comes the 18 Sigil break. Aerith casted Healing Wave up on Red 13. I'm going to use Stardust Ray to interrupt her right here. As you guys can see, it is down to the frickin' wire in this fight. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and I'd lost so many times. Just imagine being in this state, all right? So I'm spamming Fyra. That one didn't kill her. I'm going to take one more hit. I'm at 216 HP. He casts the last Fyra, and EX2 Shiva goes down. She is not impossible, but she is very difficult. All right, so I will say that you guys will need at least a fire magic weapon of, at least 3 or 4 OB levels, OB6 preferred. That being said, if you guys have any questions about this fight, drop them in the comments below. Thank you, JC, for letting me know about the Heavenly Strike and the highest hit point character. I really appreciate you and all the other people that contribute to this channel, Ever Crisis, and helping us all grow together. If you guys want to find a pretty sick, awesome community, come join the Curseborn Discord. There is a link in the description of all my videos. That being said, if you found this guide helpful, fun to watch, enjoyable, and it's going to help you beat EX2 Shiva, don't forget to drop a like and subscribe to the channel for future Ever Crisis content. That being said, I hope you all have a wonderful night. Take care and peace.